Hey there everyone, happy Tuesday. King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon here with you on a day that started off cloudy. Definitely cooler today, but a lot more of that sunshine here to end off today. And as we go throughout the night, we're going to have those clear skies and we're going to cool things off rather quickly and quite a bit too, where we have frost advisories that are now in effect. Frost advisories, right? They're back. Why? Well, because we are now in the growing season. Those of us with green thumbs who are just planters obviously like to get out there and try to get that vegetation going. And now that we are in the time of the year where we are planting stuff again, obviously, we want to be aware when things are getting really cold because we want to protect that vegetation. So without further ado, let's talk about that. Frost advisories in effect for areas of southern Mason County, going across more of South Sound and Southwest Interior, where you see those areas shaded in blue. That starts up at 11 p.m. tonight and will last until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning into Wednesday. Generally, temperatures in the low to mid 30s, so that's going to be really ideal for some of that frost to develop. And again, if you have any sort of vegetation, especially if it's sensitive, you're going to want to keep that in mind and try to protect it as much as possible. Because the cool air, it is back. We saw highs today only in the low to mid 70s in most of our locations, closer to 60 down that way around Olympia and in Puyallup. But with the clear skies and a pretty dry air mass, we're expecting things to cool off rather quickly into the night. But I wanted to show you this right here. If you are still looking forward to more of this warm weather like the 70s we had back on Monday, might not be back in the 70s anytime soon, but I think we're going to see quite a few of those 60s around. This is the Climate Prediction Center's 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, and you can see this goes through more the middle part of April, and you can see a lot more of that orange showing up, especially across the eastern side of the country, but a good amount for us too, meaning there are chances of things being warmer than normal. And normal highs for us are in the upper 50s, so you get warmer than that, you're talking about generally things being in the 60s. Well, we're going to be back in the 60s tomorrow, just barely getting there with a high of 60 degrees. Plenty of sunshine though, and we'll see more of that sunshine Thursday and Friday as things warm up even more and we get up near the 70-degree mark on Friday. Some rain coming back into the picture for us, and we are going to cool down over the weekend and heading on into next week. You can see Westport looking gorgeous right now as we make our way out towards the south coast. A beautiful end to the day there, and a beautiful shot right up this way around Hurricane Ridge with a few clouds passing by. Of course, we would like to see more snow on the ground. We'll get a little bit of that here once we head on into the weekend, as we do expect a cooler and that wetter pattern to return. SchoolNet site up towards Granite Falls, seeing a lot of clear skies there with some clouds, and our Painfield camera also showing just a bit more of that. All right, Everett, as we head into the night, clear skies, lows dropping down into the 30s, and a chilly start for our Wednesday. Quite the difference, though, today in comparison to yesterday. You see that number right there, down by 20 degrees in comparison to at this point. And this is early into your Tuesday evening. You can see Puyallup down by about 20 degrees right there. That's some impressive stuff. A big change from at this point yesterday. And you can see a lot around Puget Sound, anywhere between about 15 to 20 degrees cooler across the area. The coast was already beginning to cool down, so not as much of a difference as you head out that way. And for mid temperatures here as we head into the early evening of our Tuesday, lower to mid 50s for our current numbers. 57 down in Olympia, 51 though in Bellingham, and 51 in Port Angeles. All right, here's the radar. There's not a whole lot really going on, just a lot of those clear skies that are in place for us. And we have that area of low pressure that's off towards our south and to our west. And that right there is actually going to work its way closer to California, or eventually find its way more around areas of central and northern California. And it will help to produce some shower activity for them. Some of that trying to extend up into parts of Oregon as well, maybe even some thunderstorm activity. But for us here across western Washington, we kind of get a little bit of that offshore push. And you know, once we hit the warmer months of the year, offshore push means typically a warmer air mass for us. It's going to be a downsloping wind off of the Cascades, a drying wind too, so that's really going to limit a lot of the cloud development that we see right here. Again, back to the frost advisory. We have that in effect starting up tonight at 11 p.m. until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, so that chilly air is going to be in place. So we have the decent and the beautiful afternoons, but with that being the case, we also have the clearer skies for the chillier overnights. And we really don't see a whole lot of those clouds developing or any sort of fog development here for most of our locations tomorrow morning. So a pretty clear start for us heading into Wednesday morning. We'll see some of those clouds farther south, especially across the southern part of the state, where that is going to be a bit closer to that system that's making its way into California. But for the most part, just a lot of these clear skies. A lot more of those during the overnight hours and during the afternoons with more sunshine ahead for us. So again, for the overnights, that will mean some chilly temperatures. But I think really tonight into early tomorrow morning will be some of the chilliest numbers that we'll have to deal with here for the week. Maybe another really cold night again heading into early Thursday morning before those numbers do start to rebound. We get back into the 40s. That will come along with more cloud coverage, however, with another disturbance. And that's not really going to be the one you see down that way closer to California. That's the one that we saw, that cutoff low that continues to track its way more off towards the east. It will be actually this one right here that'll find its way out of Alaska, move through parts of the Gulf of Alaska, and eventually start to head its way farther south, where eventually you're going to kind of see the two somewhat phase kind of work together and enhancing some of the moisture and the disturbance that you see down that way across parts of California, and eventually starting to get some of that rain to return for us up this way around western Washington as we head on into the weekend, which will bring back more of that active and cooler pattern. And yes, we're going to be talking about maybe some mountain snow as we head on into that point. Not a lot, but at least we'll get some out of that. And temperatures, after they do bounce back into the mid and upper 60s here into the middle and latter part of the work week, we start to see those numbers drop back down to the 50s by the weekend, and we'll stay more so in the 50s as we head on into next work week as well. You can see those numbers generally around the mid 50s and are going to be slightly cooler than normal. All right, tonight we're going to see lows dropping down into those low to mid 30s. So again, farther south is where we have the better chances of seeing some of that frost developing. Could even notice some of that farther north too, but looks like we'll have the best chances the farther south you go. And then highs tomorrow back up near the 60-degree mark, maybe staying just shy across the islands there around Orcas Island and the San Juans. Mid-50s for us there in Anacortes, topping off only at 59, though, in Mount Vernon. Bellingham up to 58. We'll see the low 60s around Arlington, down towards Maltby, getting up to 60 degrees, 62 in Monroe, up to 61 in Granite Falls. Camano and Whidbey Island, more mid to upper 50s there. Kingston hitting a high of 60 degrees. We'll hit a high of 62 around Bremerton. Low 60s around Issaquah and Maple Valley. Auburn up to 64. And we'll see more mid 60s down this way around Belfair, Olympia, and Danielle. Tenino up to 65. Farther south, approaching the 70-degree mark around Castle Rock and Longview. The coast, though, staying cooler with highs in the 50s from Claylock down to Ocean Shores up towards Nia Bay. And then a little inland, you can see those numbers getting up closer to the low 60s as we head on into tomorrow afternoon. And here's your 7-day forecast. Plenty of sunshine either way. It's going to be chilly during the overnights, but the afternoons will be quite nice. We'll see those highs back up near the 70-degree mark heading on into Friday, and then keep an eye out for that rain as we head on into the weekend. Not a big-time washout by any means, but definitely expecting to see a better chance of rain beginning to arrive as we head on into that time and into the start of next work week. So still some nice days ahead for us. If you have any evening plans, trying to get outside and really enjoy this nice weather before we do start to get back into this weather pattern. All right, everyone, we'll take care. Hopefully you have a terrific Tuesday night, and we'll talk to you soon.